the printing industry grew during the next several hundred years. People were continually looking for ways to improve the printing press and streamline the process. One such person was James O. Clephane, an American court reporter and venture capitalist. He was a stenographer for the Supreme Court. He wanted to find an easier way to transcribe his notes and legal briefs quickly and produce multiple copies. Clephane had an indirect but important role in the developments of the typewriter and Linotype Machine. Many writing machines were patented throughout the 19th century, but only one became commercially successful. The typewriter was invented by Christopher Sholes. When beginning to pursue commercial development of his invention, he realized that stenographers would be among the first and most important users, and so he sent a prototype to James Clephane. Clephane tested the machine as no one else would, subjecting it to such harsh tests that he destroyed it along with several others that Sholes had sent. His judgment was similarly caustic. Sholes took the advice and improved the machine until it satisfied Clephane. The first typewriters sold were built for Clephane's own employees. Although the typewriter was produced commercially beginning in 1873, Clephane recognized that it solved only part of his problem for transcribing notes. It still took quite a long time to typeset the words to copy them. He pursued the invention of a machine for typesetting, one that would bridge the gap between the typewriter and the printed page. Clephane and his associate, Charles T. Moore, devised such a machine, but it was far from perfect. To help with their invention, they sought out Ottmar Mergenthaler, a German clockmaker, who suggested casting the type from a metal matrix instead of the papier-mâché matrix which they had been doing. Ottmar Mergenthaler had emigrated to America in 1872 and became a naturalized citizen in 1878. He spent a year redesigning Clephane's machine before he felt he had a working prototype. This Linotype machine was the greatest advance in printing since the invention of movable type 400 years earlier. The Linotype machine allowed type to be set mechanically rather than by hand. The machine produced a solid line of type by casting hot lead into a series of molds corresponding to individual letters. The name comes from the fact that it produces an entire line of metal type at once, hence the name Linotype. The Linotype machine revolutionized typesetting. As a result, the newspaper publishing industry was changed radically, making it possible for a small number of operators to set type for more pages on a daily basis. Prior to this invention, no newspaper had more than 8 pages. The first commercially used Linotype machine was installed in the printing office of the New York Tribune in July 1886. The operator of the machine entered the text on a 90-character keyboard. There was no shift key, therefore uppercase letters had keys separate from the lowercase letters. The arrangement of letters corresponded to letter frequency, with the most frequently used letters on the left. The keyboard had the same alphabet arrangement twice. On the left, the black keys were for the lowercase letters. On the right, the white keys were for the uppercase letters. The blue keys in the middle were for punctuation, digits, small capital letters, and fixed with spaces. The machine assembled matrices, or molds, for the letter forms. The assembled line of type is then cast as a single piece, called a slug. This process allowed for faster typesetting and composition than by hand. After its introduction in 1886, the Linotype machine took the world by storm. In 1889, it was awarded a Grand Prix award at the World Expo in Paris. The first machine in Europe was owned and operated by a newspaper in Amsterdam. In 1898, the Linotype arrived in France and was used for a newspaper in Paris. By 1904, there were 10,000 Linotypes in use. By 1954, there were more than 100,000 machines in use around the world.
see the matrices come down right here, and I'm going to put together a particular line of characters. Okay. Now we have our complete line there. The operator of the machine would look in this little window area here and see the characters on the opposite side of each matrix. So each matrix carries the mold on one side and the character on the other. So you're reading it frontwards on this side. When the line is complete, it's ready to be sent in. Push the big lever down and the machine will take it across and drop it into the casting area over here. That drops in for the molten metal to be injected from the back. The machine trims off the slug that's been cast and ejects it right down here. Another feature of this machine is something that we take for granted today. When you type on your computer and you set a line of text, you expect it to automatically justify. You can have nice clean margins left and right. This machine does it mechanically. I'm holding in my fingers here just a couple of matrices, and in between them is a special space called a spaceband. The spaceband is a pair of wedges, and right before the machine casts the line, it lifts this set of wedges up, increasing the space between each word until the line is justified.